Trigger warning, this episode is going to get heavy. It's about sexual harassment and sexual abuse. So young children might not want to listen to this whole thing. And also, if you are a survivor of sexual abuse and this topic is too sensitive for you right now, you might want to skip this one. All right, this is one of those episodes where I'm going to get pissed off.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Are you ready for me to get pissed off?
I'm ready.
So I think most of the people who have followed me for a while have seen the video I named Out Them, where I talked about some of the perverted messages I've gotten over time. And you know what? I think the best thing to do is we're going to play the entire video.
Great.
Because then let's just hear it as it is. I try to post it like once a year. Mm-hmm. Because I think that it's one of those things that unfortunately has to be repeated over and over and over again. And then let's discuss, because some people still don't get it. And I thought it was very clear in the video. I thought it was very well worded, but apparently not good enough. Okay, ready? I'm going to read to you some of the comments I have received from men. Now, this is not suitable for children, so if you have your kids around, pause this and watch it later. I want to pin you down and out of you. Shut your mouth and open your legs. Maybe I can teach you a few things. I'd love to lay you down and your all you're good for is you. I want to choke you a little, but in a fun way, if you know what I mean. So normally I'll just block these idiots, but if they comment on a video that has like thousands of comments, I don't even always notice what they wrote, and then I don't get a chance to delete it. So a few weeks ago, there was a man that posted on my public page for everybody to see, "Let's meet and have sex." And then one of my followers actually saw that and pointed out that this same exact man had been posting really, really vulgar comments on some of my videos. So I decided to take a picture of what he wrote, and I posted it to my Instagram page with his profile picture and his full name and a hashtag, #OutThem. And most of my followers really appreciated this, probably because they've dealt with the same crap. And then there were a few women who had a big problem with me outing him. So let me read you a comment from one of these women. His post is not all right, but when you put him on blast like this, it is not all right either. I know you can be better than this. You have chosen to be an example to others, to be someone to follow, and this is how you address this situation? Yup. I'm being an example to other women by showing them that they don't have to take this crap. They don't have to hide it. They don't have to be silent. And it's time to out the perverts who send these types of messages. He posted this on my public page for anyone and everyone to see. He wasn't trying to keep it private, but I'm supposed to. And even when these perverts send us private messages, we have a right to out them. So for anyone who has a problem with me or anyone else outing these people, take some time to reflect on why you think women should take this crap silently and protect the pervert's identity. There are people who have very little to say when a woman is being provoked, but man, do they have a lot to say when that woman retaliates. Another woman commented on that post saying that me outing that man wasn't kind. See, being kind doesn't mean being weak. So I'm guessing what she really meant is that I wasn't being nice, which is very different from kind. See, nice is about being agreeable, behaving in a way that makes sure everybody else is comfortable, except for ourselves. And we've been groomed to do this, ladies, haven't we? Make everybody comfortable. Don't make too much noise or you might sound like a drama queen. Being kind, on the other hand, that comes from a deeper place of wanting to do the right thing, to add good to the world. And exposing evil instead of hiding it, that's being kind. Another woman suggested that maybe he was just trying to flirt with me and he got nervous. And sometimes guys get nervous around girls they like and then they're not very eloquent. Interesting. I love that part where being a woman means being on the receiving end of sexual advances and then having to just accept that as normal flirtation. No. How about we stop accepting any of this as normal? Do we really want our children to think this is normal? Thankfully, finally, it is not acceptable any longer for men to be sexist, derogatory pigs, and it is no longer expected from women to take it silently. Let's not be more concerned about protecting jerks who are sexually harassing women than we are about making sure that every single woman knows that this is not okay. Whether these comments are supposed to be funny or serious, it is not okay. And if you think it is acceptable, then you are part of the problem. And you are one of the reasons that this continues to happen. And if you have little ones, please know that you are an example of what they should tolerate and how they deserve to be treated. And for the men who write or say this stuff to women, if you don't want to be put on blast, don't write it and don't say it. If you want me to respect you and your privacy, behave in a way that is respectful. Behave in a way deserving of respect. And if you have no clue what is appropriate and isn't to say to a woman, let me read you a quote by a comedian named Peter White. I think the golden rule for men should be this. If you're a man, don't say anything to a woman on the street that you wouldn't want a man saying to you in prison. Now, most men, in my opinion, are wonderful. So if I was a man, I'd be pretty ticked off that the crappy few sometimes tend to give all males a bad reputation. And for any woman or man who has dealt with this crap, you don't have to be silent in order to make someone else comfortable. Your comfort matters, your dignity matters, you matter, and you have a right to be as loud as you want about it. So out them.
All right. I mean, I think I made it pretty clear, don't you think?
Wow, yeah, absolutely.
So I posted that video originally, I think in 2019, and I've reposted it almost not every year, but almost every year. And the new comments that appear are mind blowing.
Really?
Yes. I'm going to read some.
Okay.
Because
You mean
that's how I feel about it.
The new comments from like the last time you posted, like last year.
Like every year, yes, every year or however often I repost it. There are people defending these perverts. There are people, well, I'll just read you. Let's start with this one. One man wrote, well, most of those are supposed to be compliments.
Oh, God.
They're literally talking about basically raping me, some of them.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to be compliments.
Wow.
Like what?
What?
And here's the problem. That this is how women are socialized from a young age. If a guy hits on you, if he checks you out, if he, like calls you sexy, it's all just supposed to be a compliment. We're supposed to be flattered by sexual harassment.
Mm-hmm. What? Yeah.
And that gets dangerous real quick.
There was a lot of bleeps in that video, but what the
Seriously.
You're going to have to bleep that.
Yeah. And also we had to bleep it because it was so, I mean, you can imagine what some of the words are.
Yeah.
But it was so vulgar.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you think this is if you think any of those are compliments, you should be in prison. Okay. That's what I genuinely believe. You deserve to be in prison. And then there was a trend in the comments where people were telling me that this is my responsibility. Okay. Like for example, the most simple way to avoid perverts this is actual comment I'm reading. The most simple way to avoid perverts is to stop trying to get so much attention on social media. Another person wrote, I have a better idea. Get off social media altogether. This is cringe. Why feed the drama?
Women shouldn't be on social media.
No.
Apparently.
And then another person said,
never post anything.
Yeah, because only on social media do people get harassed too. People don't get sexually harassed at a workplace. What are they supposed to do? Quit their job? People don't get sexually harassed on the street, walking down the street. We're just supposed to stop walking down the street.
Yeah.
Another comment. Stop putting yourself in that position. What position?
What?
Of existing? Of having my career on social media? Like it's so ridiculous. And basically what they're saying is that I need to change where I exist, how I exist, in order to not inconvenience the poor perverts from having to, harass me, from having to have control.
Wow.
Like we don't want to inconvenience them with our presence.
Yes. Oh.
So the idea of putting the responsibility on the person who's being harassed is so
disgusting,
messed up
and weird.
This was from a woman. A woman commented this. Honestly, I find these posts annoying. Only because it's simple to just block people. I'm not agreeing. And that she said, I'm not agreeing with what they're doing or saying, especially the rape one. I am so glad she clarified that for us. Thank you. That's something you can report. But I think using their names is possibly overboard, and just outing these people to me seems like a bit much drama.
Right. This is the thing is I get just forgiving somebody if they say, I really don't like your page.
Oh, yeah.
What you said, I disagree with, and I think you're stupid.
Yes.
Okay. Even if somebody was like,
people have even called me ugly, and I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where it's like, no.
Yeah.
If you keep your mouth shut, then that's a problem.
Yes. And the thing is, when women are being sexually harassed, we have been trained to be silent. Like she says, this is a bit much drama. This is exactly why women who are, assaulted stay quiet, because they're accused of being a drama queen. They're accusing of, causing problems. So our silence is what's expected.
Right.
Now, it's not expected of men to behave, but it is expected of women to be silent about it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, crazy idea. How about we blame the drama on the person doing the harassing instead of the person being harassed?
For sure.
And I do genuinely believe that women are brainwashed from a young age to keep quiet. Mm-hmm. Just don't say anything. Don't be the problem. Don't, don't cause drama. Mm-hmm. Just block them and ignore. What does that solve? That doesn't solve anything. Do you know what happens when I actually post their photo and their name and their profile, or even better, send the comments they sent to me to their employer, which I have. Yes. Mm-hmm. Do you know what happens? They stop and they get scared. They get scared it's going to happen again to them. They get scared that they're going to lose their job, and they have lost their job. I think you remember I sent an awful perverted email I got. I found the person was stupid enough, talk about dumbass, to write it from their work email.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So it was at, and then the business. I won't say what the business was, but it was like a gardening business. And so I looked up the business. They had a website. Oh, there's a CEO. Oh, there's HR. There's, they had a whole thing.
Wow.
I literally sent it out.
Good.
And they replied to me. HR replied to me and said that this person has now been terminated.
Excellent.
Thank you. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
So yes, it does work to out them.
Yes.
And you know what? If I was employing somebody who was acting that, I want to know.
I want to know.
Please put it out publicly.
Yes.
And you know what? There isn't always a chance to report. Like I got lucky with that person because they were dumbass to have their business on, listed on there. But no, I have, this is the beauty of having enough followers. They're going to be held accountable one way or another. And so, no, I don't think I need to be silent. And by the way, another reason I'm never going to be silent about this, because I want to encourage every freaking person who's gone through this to speak up. They have to speak up. I wasn't actually planning on doing this, but we're doing it.
Okay.
I'm pissed.
I'm ready.
And I'm going to read it because I'm too pissed off right now to even work on cohesive sentences. In my first book, Hold On But Don't Hold Still, there's a chapter called I Didn't Tell. Yes. And I'm just going to read, I'm going to give a trigger warning. I'm talking about child sexual abuse here. So trigger warning, feel free to turn this off. And if you have children around, you might not want to have them in the room. But I'm going to read this because I think it's important. Because it's this whole idea of women being silent. And it also plays into the thing that I hear all the time where somebody reports something 10 years later and people go, well, I don't believe them because they didn't say it right away. If it really happened, they would have said it right away. Well, you hear this you hear it all the time though, right? Like all the time.
Why didn't you speak up before?
Yes.
Well, maybe because I was afraid to speak up.
Well, so this chapter is titled I Didn't Tell. And I'm just going to read it. I think it's the easiest way to do it. The first time was when I was 5. He was a clean-cut, nice-looking grandpa type who, after watching us flail around a bit, had stepped in to give my friend and me some pointers on how to swim. But he wasn't teaching me to swim. This is where it gets really vulgar. I'm going to try to get through this without crying. He was putting his hand inside my bathing suit and occasionally even sticking his finger inside of me. The only details that stand out vividly are the feeling of his hand sliding under my bathing suit bottom and the sound of the fans that were running full blast at the indoor pools. To this day, the sound of a loud fan makes me feel anxious, small, used. I didn't tell. I didn't tell a single soul, not even my mom. For years after that incident at the public pool, I had reoccurring nightmare. I'm lying on a table in a small, dark room. There is no furniture in the room. There are no windows, no decorations. The walls are bare and dark gray. I'm not sure if I'm tied down or not, but I'm unable to move. I'm 5 or 6 or 7 years old, whatever age I was at each time the nightmare came back to haunt me. And grown men are taking turns, one by one, entering the room and touching me. Though I'm a little older each time this nightmare occurs, the state of my helplessness remains the same. I never seem to outgrow my inability to fight back or even speak up. If I woke up from the nightmare and anyone asked why I was crying, I would lie. I was being chased by a big bad wolf. At the time, it didn't seem like there was any other option but to lie. How could I ever tell the truth about something so shameful? I was a bad girl for letting someone touch me like that in real life, and I was a bad girl for continuing to have those thoughts in my head for years later. The event at the swimming pool haunted me, and instead of fading with time, intruded on my thoughts more and more as I approached puberty. My mom could tell something was wrong, and when I was 12 or 13 years old, she gently remarked one afternoon that I hadn't seemed like myself lately and asked if there was anything I wanted to talk about. Finally, tearfully, I told her what the man in the pool had done. We were sitting on her bed, and she wrapped me in her arms and said the words I needed so badly to hear. It wasn't your fault. I'm sorry that happened to you. I didn't remember his name, and I couldn't even describe his face, so there was nothing we could do to get justice. But just sharing the secret I had been carrying all those years made me feel like I could finally breathe again, and the nightmares stopped. When I was in my mid-20s, a friend of mine encouraged me to sign up for an acting class in Los Angeles. Your college degree is in theater, she said, and you never know what type of connections you might build. I know you're going through a lot right now, but I think it'd be good for you. I was going through a lot indeed. I had 2 children, one barely three years old, the other one 18 months, and I just decided to leave my marriage. I was sleeping on the sofa in the apartment I still shared with my not yet officially ex, because I hadn't figured out where else I could go or how I'd pay for it with no savings of my own. But I took my friend's advice anyway, and I signed up for an acting class that became vital to my survival. It was a 2-hour weekly escape from the stress of my daily life as a soon-to-be divorced stay-at-home mom with an uncertain future. On the last day of class, the students performed for a few industry professionals. I did a comedic scene and had so much fun letting go of the drama in my personal life and wearing someone else's skin for a while. I didn't expect anything to come of the class, but a few days after our performance, one of the talent managers who had attended got in touch to say that he thought I had enough talent to make it in this business. I was flattered and hopeful that maybe I could actually book some acting work. Post-divorce life would seem a bit easier, at least financially. My new talent manager and I met up a few times to discuss the plan for my career, and I signed a lengthy contract. When we interacted, he was nothing but professional. No flirting, no inappropriate looks or conversations. He was the perfect gentleman. Then one evening, we had a meeting at a fancy high-rise building in Los Angeles. By the time we were finished, it was dark outside. As we left the building, he asked if I could drop him off at a restaurant for a dinner meeting he had scheduled. He'd taken a taxi to our meeting, and his next destination was on my way home, so I didn't mind giving him a lift. We got in my car and continued our business-related conversation as we started across the town. We had gotten stuck in a typical annoying Los Angeles traffic when completely out of the blue, he reached over, placed his hand on my inner thigh, and then grabbed my crotch. Surprised and disgusted, I screamed, "What are you doing? Stop!" I tried to pull his hand off me, but he was stronger and bigger and free, while I was still trying to safely control a car, unable to pull over with all the other cars surrounding me. By now, his seatbelt was off, and he was leaning in close to me, both hands groping me and massaging me. I pushed back against his chest and yelled, "We're going to get in a car accident. Get off me now." But he didn't seem fazed. He acted as if he owned me, like I was just a body with no voice, no say, no feelings. There was no fear or shame in his voice as he arrogantly and very calmly whispered in my ear, "You're enjoying it. You know you are." The entire ordeal didn't last more than a few minutes, though it felt like time had slowed down. Finally, I found a place to pull over, and I threw the car into park. I told him to get out, and thankfully he obliged. I don't know what I would have done if he'd refused. I'd never felt more powerless as an adult. I felt like garbage. I felt empty, numb, small, used. As I drove off, my entire body was shaking. What had just happened? Why in the world did he think this was okay? Could I have done more to stop him? Thank goodness he wasn't the one driving the car. He could have taken me somewhere and raped me. Did I say or do something in the previous few weeks to make him think I wanted this? What just happened? I drove back to the apartment I still share with my first husband, walked in, and said nothing. The next morning, I sat down and drafted a letter to my manager stating that I was ending our business contract due to sexual assault. I wanted the word sexual assault in writing. I wanted him to know that I wasn't oblivious to what happened and that I understood how serious it was. I wanted him to know that no, I hadn't enjoyed it. I didn't want it. I mailed the letter a day later and then drove straight to the police station. I was determined to report this. It had to be reported. He committed a crime. In the parking lot at the police station, as I started to reach for the door handle of my car, my body froze while my mind raced. It's going to be his word against mine. I can't prove it. I'm about to leave my husband. Could this affect my divorce proceedings? What if my soon-to-be ex accuses me of having an affair with this guy? Could I lose custody of my kids? And now that I know how arrogant and brash this man is, what else is he capable of? What might he do to retaliate? He has money. He has power. I have nothing. Nothing except my word. Is my word enough? I sat in front of the police station for over an hour. And then I drove away. I didn't tell. I didn't tell my friends or family. I didn't tell anyone. I was embarrassed that I had even put myself in a situation where I was alone in a car with a man I barely knew. I was embarrassed that I didn't punch him or somehow have the strength to push him off me. And after some time, I was embarrassed that I hadn't reported it. If you ask those closest to me to describe me, you'd hear strong and outspoken and brave and doesn't put up with crap. And they'd be right. I am all of those things. Women like me don't let someone get away with abuse, assault, or demeaning us. Never. Except sometimes we do. And sometimes the reasons we do are so complex and confusing that we can't fully make sense of them. I wish I had immediately told a friend. I wish I had asked that friend to take me to the police station, make me get out of the car, hold my hand, and remind me as many times as necessary that my body and my dignity and the truth are worth more than his money and his power or anyone's doubts. All right, I'm going to stop reading there. And again, I wasn't planning on reading this, but I think it's important because this happens more often than we know, because so many times it doesn't get reported.
Right.
And they're two very different experiences, but similar in ways. I was a child who stayed silent. I didn't write in the book how that man also made me, you're going to be in trouble if you tell anyone. He did that whole game with me. And I was 5. So I'm not even old enough to know what's happening. I know it's wrong, but I
Right.
So I didn't say anything, and it caused awful nightmares for years. And then I'm an adult, and you think, okay, well, she's an adult now. She's going to tell, and it happens. And I'm in a really tough situation. I'm about to divorce, go through divorce. I have 2. My mind is going crazy with what could go wrong. And plus, why is anyone going to believe me? Why is anyone going to believe me? Plus, this man has money for really great lawyers. I got nothing. I mean, this was like right after I left my husband, my audience knows I was on food stamps. So I decided to share that because I think let's not judge people who stay silent, and B, let's acknowledge the damage it does when women are encouraged to stay silent.
Yeah.
And I do wonder, I don't know how that experience in my 20s would have been different if I hadn't already gone through what I went through when I was 5. I have no idea. But what I want to say is that I am not this is not like, wow, this happened to Kristina. I've never heard another story. Everybody's got, if it hasn't happened to them, it happened to someone they know. This is unfortunately very common. This isn't unique.
Yeah.
And so now, on top of what women have been dealing with, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to just take this crap that I get online and just be silent, and it's my fault because I'm online. Like, I am fed up. I'm done. I'm fed up. And I cannot believe the amount of women that have a problem with me outing these perverts. Part of me is like flabbergasted. Part of me is pissed off, and part of me feels really effing sorry for them.
Yeah, of course.
And I also worry about their children. I do. If you watch that video, if you saw the original post where I posted the man's picture and his name, and you are a parent, I'm going to tell you right now, I worry about your children if you had a problem with it. If you had a problem with me doing that, I worry about your children. I worry about your sons because what are you teaching them? And I worry about your daughters because what are you teaching them to accept? Like, it's just wrong on so many levels. Okay, I need to take a breath, so talk, Kat.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I truly just...
I mean, you've known, we've talked about this a million times.
And I feel like, it really wasn't that long ago that women even got the vote, really. Think about that. Or could own their own bank accounts, or could even divorce their husbands. It wasn't until, I think they could open their own bank accounts in like 1862, but it wasn't until 1974 that they were fully empowered through the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. 1974.
It's crazy.
Like that's crazy. That was just recently.
Yeah.
Like that was almost within my lifetime.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I know.
And I mean, thank God we're moving forward, but I know there's a lot of people who are still stuck in what they grew up in.
Yeah.
These women who are probably saying that are stuck in what their parents told them.
Yeah.
And we're adults now, so we need to wake up and we need to realize, man, that's not okay. There's not an excuse,
right?
I guess.
I think also one of the problems is that, a lot of people will say, well, what happened to you as a child, Kristina, and what happened to you with that manager was not acceptable. Like, that's not okay. But at the same time, they're willing to accept these comments. So I feel like some people like draw that line of like, well, you know, you can't touch a woman inappropriately, but you can make comments. And I think that's the problem. And it has been very like the whole, oh, it's just locker room talk. It's just like, can we
like teach our sons that that's
can
not
we make,
okay?
yeah, can we make sure they're better? Actually, I want to say something that my husband has said because I think this is important. Basically what he definitely was, you know, grew up with friends and stuff who would make comments and make jokes about girls' bodies and things. And what he said is, I don't want to say or do, this is him, like, I don't know. I first heard him say it like maybe 10 years ago. I don't want to say or do anything that will add to the objectification of women. I will not do it. I will not say, that means I'm not even going to laugh at a joke that have unfortunately, you know, the type of jokes that have become acceptable. I'm not even going to laugh at them. I literally don't want anything, any words that come out of my mouth, any facial expression, any behavior, any look I give to add to a problem we already have. Yes. I'm not going to let it happen. And I think that's the commitment every man needs to make. I will not add to it. Yes. I will not, because what happens is those I say innocent, sarcastically, those innocent remarks that men make about women, they do, like in your mind, you're seeing a woman as an object. Once a woman is an object, well then why can't you touch her? Why can't you have your way with her? I mean, what happened to me in that car with the manager, it literally was like I was a doll. I was not a real person. And obviously it wasn't his first time doing this because he did not seem nervous, you know, or anything. I'm sure the man who molested me when I was 5, I'm sure it wasn't his first time.
Yeah.
Like the thing that gives these men the confidence or whatever you want to call it to do this is they don't see us as real humans. And also they're counting on us to be freaking quiet. They're counting on us to shut up about it. And when I wrote that letter, it was a 3-year contract with the manager. And this was like within the first few months of me working with him. When I sent that letter, he never fought it. He never said, no, you can't leave, obviously. Right. So, I mean, if he was in any way innocent, obviously would have been like, what are you talking about? Right?
Right.
So but you know what? I also don't think it made him nervous. I don't think he worried that I was going to go to the police.
No.
So yes, I will keep outing people.
Yeah.
And yes, I will keep talking about it. And my hope is that every single person who listens to this, you know what? I don't care if it happened 20 years ago. Speak up. Speak up. And I want to say one more thing. The only reason I didn't mention the manager's name in my book, because I have no problem with that, is because it is like the most common first and the most common last name. And when I was writing the book and I was Googling it, there were other talent managers by the same, it's just a very common name. And I was like, I don't want to accidentally give someone else a bad reputation.
Right, sure.
I do want to read a few more comments just because these comments are so freaking stupid. And I'm not even reading the people's names in this. I did leave them. We did do a few follow-up videos from the Out Them video, and I did leave the names in there. Again, from a woman, you have way too much time on your hands and you're full of drama.
Oh, good God.
That was the response. I have too much time on my hands. You know what? Let me tell you something about the time on my hands. I will freaking take time off work. I will sleep less, okay? I will skip a meal even, and I love food, in order to out the perverts.
Yeah.
So you're right. I have enough time not too much. I just have just enough time on my hands. All right. A guy named Nate said, that's what happens when these females destroy our lives. Women are only good for one thing.
Oh, God.
So I don't know if he means like,
what?
We deserve it because we destroy life. Or I know what he means. I destroyed that man's life because I outed him. Oh. Again, my fault. Blame the woman. Always blame the woman. Always blame the woman. Yeah. This is from a woman. And by the way, I'm only reading you the ones where I went on their profile and make sure they were a real person. They weren't like a fake account. I wanted to make sure they're a real person and like, posted things and had comments from their friends and pictures with their kids.
Right.
Ready? This is the response to when I read those perverted comments. So you don't like sex? This woman, by the way, in her profile picture had a little daughter, or maybe it was a niece, but I don't care. She has a little child that apparently she has an influence over. Pierre said, guess what a woman with class will never do on social media? Discuss improper behavior. So I'm not classy because I'm out.
It's always your fault.
Right. Like he didn't say, hey, that's really not classy of them. No. I'm
It's
not
about
classy.
you. Yeah.
My response
Good
to him was,
God.
"Oh, so you're outing yourself as part of the problem? Got it. Thank you." I always appreciate these comments. Someone say, when men do this, like comment on this stuff and defend this stuff, I'm like, you are doing such a service to society because you're letting all the women know, don't date
Yes,
this
definitely
person.
not.
If you're married to me, you might want to file for a divorce. I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'll help you. I will start a fundraiser for your divorce papers. This is from a woman, and this actually broke my heart. You're not unique in this. Being harassed. Ignore. If we all start giving them attention, they will, it'll never stop.
Wow.
That's the problem.
I don't think that's true.
That's the problem, is
think
that we
it's the
ignore. This is from a guy named Richard. You're promoting censorship, man. Free speech means speech that you don't like. So this isn't harassment. This is just speech I don't like. I think freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
sorry.
There you go.
Nasty piece of you know what? For someone who apparently, this is from a woman, for someone who is apparently all about positivity and mental health, I see you more and more about negativity and putting people in their place rather than just moving on with your life. Such a shame, considering you apparently built your brand on something only to have it overshadowed by the exact thing you were trying to fight. So I don't think anybody should ever tell a woman who is harassed, just move on in life.
Right.
And also, I don't think there's anything negative about putting people in their place when they are literally threatening rape or it does. And I don't want to, I've got to be careful how I say this. It doesn't even have to mention the word rape for it to be like, there are so many comments that are just wrong.
Yeah.
To go back to what that amazing comedian, Peter White, actually don't know his comedy, unfortunately, at all. I should look into it. But the one quote I love, if you're a man and you don't know whether something's appropriate to say to a woman on the street, if you wouldn't want a man saying it to you in prison, then don't say it. I don't think you want a man in prison telling you have a nice ass.
No.
So don't tell a woman she has a nice ass.
Right.
I don't think you want a man in prison going, hey, want to have sex? Want to hook up? Hey, nice tits or whatever.
Right.
I don't think you want that.
No.
So maybe don't say it.
Yeah.
It's actually so easy. And again, back to the basics of what my husband said. As a man, and as women also.
Sure.
But I need men to call out men now because I think women have been doing a lot of calling out. Just decide, I will not do anything, even the tiniest thing, even laugh at a joke. I will not do anything that adds to the problem. I will not be part of the problem. And that doesn't mean just, I'm not gonna laugh at the joke. I'm gonna call the joke out. I'm gonna say, not cool, man. No, we're not doing that. How different would the locker room talk be if there was a real man in there? If there was a real man in the locker room who's like, dude, we don't talk about women like this.
Yes.
What is wrong with you people? Who raised you?
Yeah.
No. That's what we need. That's a real man. You want to talk about real man? That's a real man.
I know you get dick pics sometimes.
Oh.
And so tell everybody how you deal with dick pics.
So this has happened more than once. So, and by the way, what in the world is wrong with you? Nobody wants to see your dick.
Literally,
first of all,
nobody does.
But I've gotten dick pics. This is why, by the way, I'm not a fan of young kids on social media because the DMs I get, maybe I should start sharing those publicly just to warn parents. Like, if your kids are on social media, please don't be naive. Like, check their DMs, have their password. Kids are not ready for this stuff. When I get a dick pic, I will stop everything I have to do that day. I will literally cancel doctor's appointments over this. And I've been sick lately. I will cancel everything. And I will deep dive into finding out who this person is married to, who their mother is, who, they work, definitely who they work for. I will find everybody in their life. I will dig deep. And I will, if I have to spend money to do research, I will spend money to do research. I will find out. And then I will send that picture to everybody I find. Because I figure if you're so freaking proud of your dick that you want a stranger, this woman you don't even know, me, to see it, you must want your mother to see it.
Yeah.
You must want your boss to see it.
For sure.
I mean, you think your dick is so beautiful that you need to take a picture, take the time to upload it, send it to me.
Right.
Don't you want your boss to see it? Show it up.
Yes.
So that's what I do.
Good. I love it.
The amount of dick pics I've emailed in my life.
Does anybody ever respond? Does the wife ever be like, oh my God?
So I have been blocked by these people. But I've actually gotten a response. Well, I told you from the people, the HR people at that one.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then I did get, that wasn't a dick pic. That was an awful email, crude email. But I did get, one or two responses from the man who was like, you ruined my life. Why'd you send that? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I ruined your life.
Oh,
I ruined your life.
Oh my.
Huh, that's weird. I thought you ruined your life. I thought this was your action.
You were the one who took the picture
and by
of
the
your
way,
dick and sent it.
You didn't say this is ugly, don't share.
Yeah.
Maybe if you added this is a really ugly dick, don't share, I wouldn't have. But you didn't. You didn't
say that.
So you know what? Sorry, but I thought I was doing him a favor.
Right.
Like, let the
totally,
whole world see it.
Yeah.
I want to read a quote by Jennifer Michelle Greenberg. Reporting an abuser doesn't ruin their life. They did that themselves. Reporting an abuser doesn't damage their reputation. It makes them more accurate. Gosh, we need an applause for that. Reporting an abuser doesn't hurt their family. It protects them from abuse, which is why I never feel guilty saying it to wife. You know what? If my husband was an idiot like that, I'd want to know.
Yeah.
I'd want to know, especially if I have kids with it. I want to know.
Yeah.
Reporting an abuser isn't gossip. It's integrity. So can we please stop protecting the perpetrators? Please. We have to stop. There's a quote by Elie Wiesel that I love. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. How true is that?
Yeah.
What happened to that man that molested me when I was 5? Unless he got reported later by someone else, nothing. Nothing. Did it help me? The neutrality, me being quiet, did it help me? No, I still have, obviously I couldn't get through that without crying. I still have issues because of it. But it sure served him.
Yeah.
Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Something has to change. Something has to, and this is what makes me really sad. I made that video originally 7 years ago. And the fact that there's still so many people who are defending those comments, who are mad at me for outing that guy, obviously not much has changed in the last 7 years. Like, I don't know in what year it became illegal for a man to rape his wife. You know, that was you were allowed, if a husband, that wasn't considered rape.
Right.
And finally, that's a lot. But like, you know, so that stuff is like, oh, I mean, that seems like it should have been common sense from the beginning.
Right.
We're like, okay, we're moving in the right direction. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see it. I don't see us moving in the right direction right now. I'm not seeing progress between 7 years ago when I first posted and now. I'm not seeing it from my end.
And you know what I sort of feel like it is too, is that nobody's talking to anybody anymore. People are just online and they're seeing the same thing in their feed over and over. If they're misogynist person and they keep seeing the same comments over and over and over again, it's just reinforcing in their mind that they think this is okay, they think this is right, they think that everybody thinks this, so then they just spew it everywhere and they have no pushback.
I'm focusing on negative comments because I think they're important in this, because they put a spotlight on where a lot of our society still is, right? But I also do want to say, since posting that video and since writing that chapter in my book, I have gotten so many emails and DMs through Instagram about, you know, from women who went through the same thing. And I'm going to tell you, it's heartbreaking because so many of these women were like, I also haven't told anyone. Right. I had a few women say, because of what I read in your book or because of the video, I finally told somebody. I finally am getting therapy. But so many women are like, I just didn't, like, I was never taught to speak up. Or I've read so many stories from women who are like, I did speak up. And then, you know, they took the pervert side. Right. Not the law enforcement necessarily, but like whoever in their life. It's like, and unfortunately, I've heard this from families where somebody's like, as a kid, I was molested. And I did tell my mom right away. And my mom was like, you know what? Let's not tell anyone. It's keep it in the family. I'll just make sure Uncle so-and-so doesn't come over again. Or worse, well, Uncle so-and-so is still going to come over. I'll just make sure you guys are never alone. Oh God. Like this is going on. And how does that make that kid feel? Yeah. I guess it wasn't so bad what happened to me because mom's still cool with that person coming over. Right. Okay. I want to address a few more comments. One woman said that she was surprised that I didn't treat these men with dignity. I'm about to throw up. Wow. Since I talk about mental health so much, and they might be addicts. This is what she actually wrote. They might be addicts and they just made a mistake. Oh, God. That's me pounding on the desk if you're listening, not watching this podcast.
Okay, so Okay.
I have so many things to say
I know,
about this, but go
right?
ahead. You go.
I was gonna say, okay, I understand these men obviously do have issues in their life and they do have mental health issues. But if you murder someone and you have mental health, you're still gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
Like that's not an excuse.
Yeah, and I know plenty of people who struggle with addiction who do not sexually harass women.
Yes. 100%.
That's not an excuse. And also, how far are we going to take this? How far are we going to take this? Like that woman that wrote that. God forbid her daughter gets raped. But the rapist is an addict.
Right,
Are we just going to be
right.
like, oh, you know what? We just need to treat him with dignity. He's struggling. We have to make sure nobody knows about this, really. So let's just keep it quiet. No.
No.
And also, I'm sorry, but an insult to addicts, like we're just
Right?
like awful. Like so many people struggle with addiction, and they're the kindest
Yes.
people who would never hurt anybody.
Yes.
To me, that comment is just so full of
And you know
ignorance.
what? You're right. It's offensive to people who are addicts.
Yes.
That's just assuming that all
Yes,
addicts
are going
gonna
to
be...
harass somebody
Yes.
or worse.
Oh, dear God.
And then calling it a mistake. Okay, that one really ticked me off. You do not call this crap mistake. A mistake is when someone calls me Katrina instead of Kristina. That's a freaking mistake, okay?
Yeah.
Telling me they want to rape me, sexually harass, that's not a mistake. No. That's a choice they're making. That's a choice they're making. That's not a mistake. That's not a, oops, accident, I spilled something. No.
Right.
Then another woman commented, well, what if the influencer that they're commenting this stuff to is on the more promiscuous side? Is it okay then? And I was like, is she genuinely curious about my opinion? Like I'm,
Is she,
like
well,
what?
yeah.
What is this question? So this is what I replied to her. I'm just gonna read it. I said, let me guess, you're the type that's going to tell your son to not sexually harass women, unless the woman happens to dress in a way that you find promiscuous. Then go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, buddy.
Knock yourself out.
She earned it. She asked for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so screwed up. Like, I'm sure there's some crazy person out there that would be like, well, what kind of bathing suit were you wearing when you were 5?
Oh, dear God.
Were you,
What?
was it revealing when you were 5 and the man just couldn't help himself? Maybe your
my
mother should have
gosh.
put a t-shirt and shorts on. But
Oh, my gosh.
seriously, why are we even insinuating that somebody dressing a certain way is now deserving of sexual harassment?
No.
And also as a man, and my husband and I've discussed this so many times, he's like, I am so offended by the idea that I have no self-control.
Right?
Like how many times
It
are
is.
yes, how many times are, women told, well, don't dress that way because then men aren't going to be able to help but stare at you or make a comment. And I've talked to many men that are like, this makes us sound like, especially because men are constantly, wanting to be seen as these like people that deserve respect and
Right.
intelligent and
Right.
be able to control
Strong.
themselves and strong leaders. Really? But you see cleavage and you lose all control. You're that weak. Really?
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to be seen as strong.
Right.
You're that weak. You have no self-control. So my husband's always like, this is such an insult to men.
Yes.
When you say that to women, it's an actual insult to men
Yeah.
that, we have no self-control. We just
Yeah.
can't.
You know what?
Our
Yeah.
dick just takes over.
Oh, God. Men should not be in charge of the government.
No,
then. It should
definitely
only
not.
be women.
Men should not be in charge of anything
No,
if they can't control
shouldn't.
themselves.
No, absolutely no.
No,
It should only be
because
women.
if their dick takes over and their
knew?
brain shuts down,
Yeah.
well, I don't want
what
a
do we
dick
do?
running my country.
What about that red button in the White House?
Yes, if a
You know what I
if a
mean?
dick's and controlling that, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but when men should not. If this is correct, men, if you really can't control yourself around a woman who is dressed in whatever way you decided was promiscuous, then you should not be a leader of any kind.
Oh, no.
Now,
Definitely
do I
not.
actually believe that? No, I
No,
think
of
that's an
course not.
excuse. But holy crap!
Yeah.
Like the fact that a woman is writing this, and that's the other thing. Back to when I was 5. So if we're gonna say, men can't control themselves, like, or men are allowed to make those comments if a woman is dressed promiscuously. Does that also go for a 14-year-old? I was just talking to a friend. I'm not going to mention him. I was just talking to a friend who developed at a young age. Okay. She had boobs, like big boobs by the age of 10. And she's like, she is in her 50s. I am still effed up in the head from remembering men staring at my boobs when I was 10. 10. Men who are old enough to be my dad, my grandfather, staring at my boob. She said, I'm still effed up. I still have insecurities because of that. And I still have major body issues. And I still freaking feel like an object and feel less valuable. So a 10-year-old has to wear a turtleneck because she happens to have boobs and she'd like to wear a tank top because it's freaking hot outside or because she likes to wear a tank top. I mean, come on. Let's put the responsibility on the people who are harming not the people being harmed.
Yeah. And I think honestly, it comes down to how are we raising our boys?
Yes.
Like, to me, that's it's so frustrating, but what can I do? How can I raise my boys?
And maybe we also need to tell our boys what, my husband said.
Yeah.
Your job is to never add to that. This is how women are treated. I mean, movies have changed a little bit, but like the movies when we were growing up, it was just like so common to just like sexualize women in movies, objectify, right?
For sure.
Like, just teach our boys. Don't add to it. It's a problem. And it's only going to get bigger if every man could, even with a laugh, even whatever. And then not only don't contribute it, call your friends out.
Yes,
like, I know it's uncomfortable,
yes.
but call them out the same way you would
that's
call
not
out.
cool.
The same way you would call out racism.
Sure,
I pray to God that if my son hears a racist comment, that he's going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. No. Not just that he will be silent, not just that he won't laugh at it, that he'll actually call it out. And I'd like to think the same would happen if he heard somebody making a inappropriate comment about a woman. I want to read something one of my followers wrote. I want to end on a more positive, positive comment, but like common sense comment, because all those other ones are stupid and dumb. And yes, if you're listening to it and you wrote them, I'm calling your comments stupid and dumb and ignorant. This is from a woman who actually has common sense. Watching Kristina speak openly about online sexual harassment and then seeing the comments that followed is exactly why so many people stay silent. Telling someone to get off social media instead of holding harassers accountable is not common sense. It's deflection. Sexual harassment is not the responsibility of the person receiving it. Speaking up is not attention seeking. Silence has never protected anyone. I stand with women who tell the truth, even when it makes people uncomfortable, especially then. The comments on this video are proof that sexual harassment is still minimized, dismissed, and normalized, especially online. The answer is not log off. The answer is not ignore it. The answer is not blaming the person who spoke up. The answer is accountability. I support women who speak out. I support calling this behavior what it is, and I refuse to normalize silence just because it's easier for others. Silence protects perpetrators. Shame protects perpetrators. Out them is about accountability, not hiding, not excusing, not minimizing. If harassment happens, we don't disappear. We document, we report, we out the behavior. I want to say one more thing and then we're going to wrap up. I mentioned in that video, or by the way, you can find it anywhere, just Google my name and out them. But again, I repost it pretty much yearly. In the video, I mentioned the difference between being nice and kind. Because somebody called me out and said, that's not very nice of you to out him like that. Or that's not very kind. And then I called her out and said, well, there's a difference between nice and kind. We women are trained to be nice, right? And so if we're at a party and God forbid somebody's husband grabs your ass, well, I want to be nice. I don't want to cause drama. I don't want to tell anyone, right? Like, nice is about just making sure everybody else is comfortable. And I am done being nice. And I want every woman to be done being nice. Being kind is about actually what benefits the world as a whole, and what benefits the world as a whole and our children. Gosh, especially if you're a parent, I hope you're motivated to create a better world for them, your boys and girls. And by the way, I'm speaking from my experience as a woman, but boys do get sexually harassed too. And boys get molested and boys get raped. Absolutely. And so this is, I don't want to pretend this obviously happens more to women, unfortunately, but it does happen to men too. But kindness is about putting stuff into the world that will better it. So I want every woman listening to this to say, I'm done being nice. I don't want to be nice. I want to be kind. And kind is about strength. And kind is not about silence. Kind is about being loud and standing up for what's right. And also, for any men listening to this, be the one to call it out. I am asking you as a woman, we need your help. Because what happens behind closed doors isn't innocent. Just because it's not happening to my face isn't innocent. That empowers men. Those kind of jokes empower men. If men stopped joking like that behind closed doors in locker rooms, if they stopped thinking that way of women, if they stopped, objectifying women, there would actually be less harassment in person. There would actually be less abuse. So call it out. It's not acceptable.
Yes.
And if you are a parent, especially, let's make sure we raise our girls to speak up, and boys too, to speak up if something happens to them. And let's make sure we raise our boys to know they are smart enough and they are strong enough and they have enough self-control. They're not stupid animals that can't control themselves. I could do this for another hour.
Yeah.
I am pissed off. This has already been like, I think the longest episode we've done, but I think it's important to talk about.
Absolutely.
And if you have gone through anything I've gone through, or so many other women or men have gone through, I am sending you so much love. Therapy helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. And I highly encourage it. If you have in any way been sexually abused, harassed, and you've never told anyone, and I know this is tough, I'm asking you to make that call. I'm asking you to invite a friend over. I cry right now. Tell somebody. Because, again, like I wrote in the book, when I told my mom, the nightmare stopped. Something happens when we stop suppressing. Share it with somebody. Tell somebody who's safe. All right? And I love you so much. I have an app called Hope and Humor Daily if you ever need daily encouragement, and I love you all. Bye.